In my quest to leave a mark on the culture and make hip hop proud, I'd like to welcome you all to another episode of The Essence. The Essence is presented by Tent TV and Validated Magazine, and I'm your host, KB Tyndall. Today, I have someone who is not only an artist, but he's a superior dot connector when it comes to working with artists in the hip hop space, as well as in the NFT space. He's a lawyer. He also exemplifies what it means to be a true A&R. I know that's like a lost occupation, but he's one of those guys that's true to that art form. He's an unconditional lover of hip hop culture. He's been a part of more than 10.5 million albums sold, 39 Billboard Rap Top 100 albums. He has 14 gold and platinum plaques. He's also a world record holder for the longest freestyle ever recorded at 9 hours, 15 minutes, and 15 seconds. He's been a part of this culture for a couple of decades now, and he continues to give back and uplift others, helping people in the industry win and helping people win in life in general. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Essence, the one and only M80. What's happening, baby?
I'm good, man. Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir, man. Thank you for tapping in with me, man. I really appreciate you taking the time out to, jump on and do this. Like I told you before, this is going to be for Tent TV. It's also for Validated Magazine.
Okay.
You know what I mean? We're going to bless you with the cover on that, man. So thank you very much for taking
cover story. I haven't had one of those in a long time.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to bless you with one for sure. Definitely.
Thank you.
Let's start at the beginning, man. Like, where did you get the name M80 from?
This is a true story. So my original rap name was Eminem. The initials, the letters, M and M, which are my initials, Matthew McCaney Markoff.
Right.
This predates Marshall Mathers, Eminem, and the Slim Shady LP. I have an older brother. We lived in Toledo, Ohio. When we moved to Indianapolis, Indiana, at some point, I believe it was like, I don't know, mid-90s, my brother comes home. He's like, there's another rapper in Detroit named Eminem. I'm like, oh man. And I was just like freestyling at the time. I didn't have any songs or anything. He's like, if you actually want to pursue rap like as a career, you probably should change your name. So it was crazy for my brother to say something like that, where it's just like another guy who, for all we know, is maybe just as popular as me, another dude from the Midwest that, was getting ready to drop his first shit. So for a couple mixtapes, I just went by Markoff, my last name. Then I did a couple tapes under the name Sir Slick Sack, which was my pager code, 777 for the triple S's. Yeah. And then I swam varsity and I played lacrosse and I played intramural basketball in high school. And I'm coming home with my friend Justin one day from swim practice. He's like, you know what? You should be M1000. And I'm like, that's the stupidest shit I ever heard. And we're both cracking up. And we're sitting there like thinking, I'm like, M80 though. That could go.
Right.
It's like, what about tell me about M80? I was like, M80 leaves an impact, leaves a protruding effect. That's me. So it's like, you meet me, you don't forget it. You feel my business presence, you don't forget it. That is the impact of an M80, of an explosive, and that is me. And I stuck with M80 ever since. I've never went back and did any more rhymes of Sir Slick Sack or Eminem or anything like that. But
Sir Slick Sack,
dude, people still have like the Sir Slick Sack tapes.
Wow!
Like all throughout high school, in like my sophomore and junior year, all we did was sell tapes.
Right.
And senior year, I think the internet was invented when I was a junior in high school, like 98, 99. So that's when we started getting, maybe it was invented before, but that's when we had it in school.
Right.
And then we got the CD, in the library, they had the computers with the CD burners. So it wasn't until my senior year where I could take a copy of my CD and go in the library for an hour and make the copies of the CDs and already have the cases. But other than that, every night, I'd be at my parents' house, actually dubbing each cassette tape one by one, just to take to school the next day to sell, to repeat, same process.
Yeah. That's crazy, man. What's your absolute earliest memory of hip hop culture?
It's one of my earliest memories. It's one of my best memories. My brother. Okay, so I'm in. Let's see. 6th grade.
Mm-hmm.
I got it's the first half of 93, I think.
Okay.
And my brother, who's 7.5 years older than me, was the basketball coach. I went to Central Elementary. He went to Southview High School, but he coached middle school basketball for a school called McCord Junior High, which I ended up going to for 7th grade. But my brother had this red Mercury Tracer, and Doggy Style came out. And he went, and this is when like you'd go to the store and the CD would be in like the giant security.
Yeah.
Like, this big.
Yeah.
All right. So he got Doggy Style on CD and cassette, and like just listening to Doggy Style is like and still today one of my favorite albums of all time. And it's like, you know, fast forward 20 years or like, you know, 15 plus years, and I'm like, I get to work with Snoop Dogg.
You get
it's
to
amazing.
Work with Dogg, yeah.
Kurupt the Dog Pound, the whole nine. The first CD I ever bought at the same, I got Crisscross, and I got Dr. Dre the Chronic. And I wish that we still had, I saw on eBay, there was a copy of the Chronic still in like the giant security thing.
Right.
I was going for like 2 G's.
Wow.
I caught my mouth, I'm bleeding. All right, well, fuck it. If a bunch of blood just pops in the interview, so be it. All right. Might have had a burrito for dinner. It might have been something sharp in there. I didn't even know.
Yeah, a little something.
Yeah, fuck it. But that's my earliest, memories of hip hop. And then I took a lot of my music cues from my brother.
Okay.
Because he gave me rides like to and from school and like sporting events and stuff like that. So like half the time we're listening to alternative rock, like Pearl Jam and Stone Temple Pilots and Alice in Chains and Soundgarden and stuff like that.
Right.
And then it's Tribe Called Quest, Cypress Hill, Beastie Boys, Bone Thugs and Harmony. And I have a song on the Glass City album called Hip Hop Glory that the whole first verse is literally about that storyline, like how I fell in love with hip hop to the present day.
No doubt, definitely. What kind of law do you actually practice?
I don't.
You don't? Well, would you? But
don't.
You did.
So I went to law school, and this like blows a lot of people's minds because people just assume I'm an attorney.
Right.
I graduated from law school. I graduated in the top 10% of my class.
Mm-hmm.
I never went to law school with the intention of becoming an attorney.
Okay.
Like I love law, and I like high school was in the top 10% of my class. College, graduated magna cum laude, was the student body president at IUPUI for a good year.
Mm-hmm.
And I graduated magna cum laude from JFK Law School. I went to law school with the intention on mastering the business of music.
Okay.
So like everyone takes the same core classes, like evidence, property, contracts, corporations, things like that. My specialty courses were advanced civil litigation, advanced contracts, intellectual property, things like that. So the first year of law school, all you can do is study. Like I remember my legal writing professor overheard me saying I went to a movie the night before, and she's like, "Oh, if you had time to go do anything but study, you're probably going to fail." I'm like, "Oh, damn." So I quickly changed from just like how I would study for, say, something in college, and then like do great at the exam. All I did in law school was administer the practice tests, which they kept in the library. Like, here's the past 10 years of exams for each course. And I would practice those. I'd have students come and meet me on the weekends, and we'd go over these exams. So literally by my third year, I could go out any day of the week, do whatever I wanted, because I was doing these exams so frequently. And that was literally doing more for me than taking notes in the class, and then applying it come exam time. In fact, my last ever law exam was corporations. And the night before, Wu-Tang dropped 8 diagrams. Rizzo was in town and he had a show. And he's like, "Come through." And I'm like, "Bet." So I go to the show. I brought a copy of the CD. He signed it. He's like, "You have the very first signed copy of this album." I'm like, "Bet." It's framed, in my house the whole time.
Right.
After the show, we went out to this place called Yoshi's. We're playing chess. We're drinking the whole shit. I went home at like 4 something in the morning. Woke up at like 8 the next morning, did the exam, got a B+. I was that by the end of law school, I was that good, where it's like I could do whatever.
Right.
I maintained A's and B's and the whole nine. But during law school, when you had to have X amount of apprenticeship hours, is when I started to transition more from M80 artist, because I thought when I went to law school, I was leaving that whole life behind. There was even a write-up about like my retirement in the local like Midwest paper at the time. But I got into the business side of music. And so I worked with RZA, and I worked with Dreddy Kruger at Think Differently Music and Wu-Tang Indie. Oh, my phone died. I was doing my live. Wu-Tang Meets the Indie Culture was the second highest selling independent album of 2005. After that, that's when all the other artists like Redman and Canibus and Keith Murray and Kurupt and Crooked Eye and Planet Asia and so on and so forth all started coming to the mix.
Okay. Gotcha. At what point did you decide to yourself and say, this is the industry that I want to get in? Like, what age was that?
13.
At 13, and what made you think that? What was the initial thought that made you think that's what you wanted?
This is another memory. It's like ingrained in my head. Like what I wore to elementary school on the first day of 5th grade. I was so excited. I laid my outfit out like a week in advance. I'm in Fostoria, Ohio with, oh, damn it, I bought the wrong charger. I'm in Fostoria, Ohio with my dad's side of the family. And I had a copy of The Source magazine.
Right.
And in The Source was a story from the Locks.
Okay.
And it was about their transition from independence to bad boy to going gold or platinum to the perception of having money to the reality of not, and having this kind of roller coaster of financial prowess and brokenness. And yet it detailed each artist's perspective, Chic, Jada, Styles, and get their take on things. Like, how do you feel about this? What stuck out to me, I think it was Styles, who was like, it's fucked up that we'll sell 1 million records and we're expected to have millions of dollars. Makes sense, you know, tit for tat, millions. And yet the people behind the business of the music seem to never have this roller coaster. Right. It's like they're always staying with money. That told me right then and there, all right, I don't want to give up on being the artist, but I don't want to sell myself short in life and have to potentially struggle and go through all the artist struggles. Right. So let me figure out where I can work my art in, but behind the scenes, executive, A&R, whatever it is, whatever position you're playing, apparently these people always will have money. Always have money. Does not let me down.
That's what's up. Yeah, that makes sense. Absolutely. Tell me about your licensing business, man, where you purchase these verses from major artists and sell them to independent artists. Tell me about that. Tell me about that and how the process works and where
the
artists
interesting thing
can tap in on
is a lot of people think that it's only like buying from major artists and selling to independent. It's literally anyone and everyone. For instance, there's an Onyx album. It's not good. It was through some shit label called X-Ray Records, which it's funny because I've done business with this company and know other people who have. But like X-Ray Records is an example. They bought a shit ton of verses from me and put 3 or 4 of them on an Onyx album.
Okay.
You know, they just needed to fill some space.
Right.
How it started was my partner Anno invented the production licensing business. Okay. So yes, we have customers that will pay, say, a $5,000 or $10,000 to get an exclusive beat. But that's far and few. Right. He might have hundreds of customers in a month that'll spend, say, $25, $50, $100 on licensing a beat. Right. And what can they do with this beat? Use it for anything they want. There's parameters. But you can I put it on, can I list my song on Spotify? Can I have it on iTunes? Can I put it on CD? And the answer is yes, all across the board. Right. That's more conducive to the upcoming artist budget. Not everyone's just playing with fucking stacks of cash. Right. Like even when I was an artist, I was still making $100 a day selling my tapes in school. But I worked, like I had a normal job too, you know? And so let's just assume the average human has to work a real person's job. Okay. You know, they get a check. Anno's production licensing business is what sparked the idea for the verse licensing business. Now, unlike Anno, you can't come to me and get a verse for $25.
Right.
Like I can't just take a verse and give it to 100,000 people. But I can buy a verse from an artist. And how I acquire the majority of them is when I'm A&Ring albums. I maintain, I'm usually some kind of executive as well. It means I have a financial hold on the product. I invested into the record.
Okay.
And you can tell which records I did that because they usually say Holy Toledo Productions somewhere on it. Okay. So we're talking records from various Wu-Tang members and Crooked Eye, Kurupt, and Asia, and Big Twins, and Hus, and Canibus, and the list goes on and on and on. I've like 150 some albums. Mm-hmm. And I didn't save the files for every album I've ever worked on, but I think I started to heavily around 08. So there's a good 4 or 5 year period where I didn't. But I would make sure I had the sign-offs in my name, in my company name. And in the paperwork is the right to assign and transfer. Mm-hmm. Now, there's 2 ways to look at this. Some artists are not cool with this side of my business at all.
Right.
Because they feel like it invalidates the integrity of the art. I did this verse for this song. I did not do it for what you then licensed it for.
Right.
Maybe I don't know the person. Maybe I don't look for whatever reason.
Right.
And I try to vet these people as best as possible. Mm-hmm. That's the difference between me and my licensing business and say anyone else that's just like, hey, I got a verse from fucking Gucci Man you can buy for $300. Like that's scam shit.
Right.
It sounds too good to be true. I might have a Gucci verse, but if you want to license it, it's $5,000.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, if you want exclusive from him, it's $50,000 to $100,000+. You never know. Depends on who the artist is. So the verse licensing business, as I would go from album to album, I would stock up on the admin paperwork. It's not just big in the rap community. My licensing business is very big in the EDM world. And they're the easiest and best to deal with because these are people that are producers, DJs, so on and so forth. And it's just cool for them to have a song, say, featuring Lil Wayne. They're playing it in the club. The club goers don't give a fuck. Like, they're not like, I think I heard that verse on a 2009. They're not doing that. Shit, this is dope. They're having a good time. And then the DJs and various producers do remixes. I give them derivative rights, and so they can remix the shit, put out whatever they want. There's things you can't do with the licenses. Like you can't, I'm not going to sell the same person a Lil Wayne and Birdman verse. Like that was a highly sought after thing while they were beefing. I'm like, no, it's not happening for any amount of money. I wouldn't sell someone a Lil Wayne and Pusha T verse.
Right.
So it's been a nice part of my business for several years. And I've recently partnered with a company in Amsterdam or the Netherlands that's getting me out to a broader base. My partner, Anno, who's originally from Germany, and we met when he lived in the United Kingdom. He lives in America now. So it's great to have someone that's overseas because Anno's now more in tune with American politics of the business than international.
Right.
I've done licensing deals with cryptocurrency companies and so on and so forth. And it's like, there's so much to do with it. Now, here's the interesting thing. A lot of people can I buy this verse and NFT it? And I tell them no. And they're like, why not? I thought you can do it. I'm like, because when I got these contracts, NFTs weren't a thing.
Weren't invented yet.
Right. This paperwork that has NFTs as a consideration, so there's that. And it really pisses people off. And that's a whole other topic for maybe another time. But I don't get why people that can't sell a single for 99 cents thinks all of a sudden they're going to NFT their song and get $1 million
and get $1 million.
It's crazy, man. So there's that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
As an insider in this industry, man, we see a lot of artists just go down the wrong fucking path for whatever reason, right? So recently we got this Young Gun and Gunna situation that's going on with the with the indictments and stuff. And then we got, Casanova copping out and taking his plea.
I worked on that last Snoop and Casanova video. We did the product placement. So if you go back and check that out, I think it's called 211.
Okay.
But that's crazy because
no doubt.
when we were making that video, we didn't know this would be,
a thing.
The last days of Casanova's freedom.
Right. What
so I mean, like I was saying, disclaimer in the beginning of the video.
Right. As an insider, man, what do you attribute that to? Why do you think artists get to a certain point? They got all this money in the world, they got all this prestige and all this stature, and then they still get caught up in some shit that just doesn't make any fucking sense.
It's because it's cool to feed the streets. It's cool to be responsible and feed your people.
Right.
Like as a white Jewish guy, it's cool to be like, Mom and Dad, I can buy you a house if you want, or your dream car, or like that gives us a sense of pride. So imagine someone like Young Thug or Gunner, like I got 50 people have employment because of the success and prowess of my career. Granted, you can't make everyone leave the street life.
Yeah, you can't.
And even if you're out of it, you kind of always have one foot in it.
Right.
And sometimes it's really about the definition and gravity of how deep is that 1 foot in. It's not, it's so much easier said than done to be like, you're on, you got money, you don't need to live like this. When like you're trying to get, no pun intended, validated.
Right.
Who your character is and your persona to the public. Like what an interesting thing is, like when I was rapping, it kind of relates off topic, but my brother always, he's like, you're funny. Like you should be more funny in your raps. And I'm like, nah, because my influences were Wu-Tang and Snoop and, Tribe Called Quest. And there was nothing quote unquote funny about it. It's bars and it's streets and it's hard. And then enter Lil Dicky. Someone that clearly ran with that lane and it worked for him. I was like, first Lil Dicky. So it's like someone like Lil Dicky's never gonna have to worry about that. You know? He can get his people jobs and they were never part of the street shit, period.
Right.
But even when you think you're out, you're really still in it. And I pray for them, man. I pray. I wasn't there. I can't comment on any.
Right. Absolutely.
Of the most severest crimes.
Right.
But it's like, not just like the legal system looks at like a group of blacks as a gang, regardless. You could be hanging out in front of the stoop, having a conversation, fresh out of school, and that's gang activity.
That's a fact. Yeah.
So when T.I. recently was like, "How come the KKK's never been brought up on RICO charges?" It goes one of two ways. Well, one, you got KKK members that are lobbyists, that are in office, that are police, that are high-ranking officials. There's that. And then you can look at it from like, MA's trying to be funny, but no, I'm being serious. Like these dudes outside of the lynching here and there don't do shit. They go burn crosses in yards and do rallies and have threats that they don't see through. That's how I view the KKK. Yes, I'm well aware of the history. It's the whole nine. Discrimination, that shit. Racism at its finest. But when's the last time maybe once or twice in the past, say, 5 years, there was a lynching and it was the KKK. That's why. KKK pussy. Right.
Yeah, I can agree with that. That doesn't happen on a regular basis or anything like that. I completely understand where T.I. is coming from, but like you said, a lot of these people are in prestigious positions that they don't want to jeopardize, so they're doing this shit behind closed doors, and hiding that. They're not on Front Street with it.
Yeah, correct.
Per se.
Correct. Like you wouldn't know if your local senator is a member of the Ku Klux Klan.
Right. You wouldn't
versus the dude that's like, I'm outside.
Yeah.
I'm out here. You're like, drive by, like, I see him. He's definitely out here.
He's definitely outside. Yeah.
So there's that.
Definitely. What artists are you checking for right now, man? Like, who's getting the most play in your ride when you're moving around?
38 Spesh.
Nice.
Hus Kingpin.
Big
big twins.
Mm.
Brand new dudes out of Indianapolis, Indiana, Abe Linx and Tully Cicero.
Okay.
Fresh Does It, producer MC out of Indianapolis. Benny,
of course,
consistently.
Right.
Not new at all, but like I love the new Pusha T. I love the new Method Man album.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear Kendrick tonight.
Mm-hmm.
You know, other than that, I'm usually playing like favorite rock and favorite rap classics on like a streaming service.
Right.
Or I'm tuned into like Shade 45. Shade 45 and Hip Hop Nation are really the only times I get to like, you might just come across something you didn't know existed, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm going to go in and listen to what I know I already like.
Got you.
You know, there's a good solid period of months where I could not listen to anything but like Nipsey and DMX. And it was both around the times of their passing, like most, you know. Like when Prodigy passed, I don't think I listened to anything but Mobb Deep for like at least a month.
Right. Yeah, I go through those phases too when we lose an artist. Definitely. Yeah. Early on in your career, man, what kind of sacrifices did you have to make or things that you had to go without because you were so invested in, you know, pursuing a career in this industry?
I mean, countless amounts of girlfriends came and went. I had a fiance that came and went because that was kind of shitty, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's not boyfriend, girlfriend, makeup to breakup shit. It's engaged to be married. So I remember, you know, one night she came home and she's just like, this isn't working. And like, I'm leaving you. I didn't fight it, you know? There's no fight left in me. It was like, okay, if you think that's what's best for you, because I viewed, and that was the best blessing in disguise ever, because my family lives in Indianapolis, like my mom and dad, my brother lives there now too. And the rest of my family lives throughout Ohio. But when me and my fiance split, that was the only thing holding me to Indianapolis. I got several artists, countless record deals. I'd helped studios. I built up clothing brands. I brought, like millions of dollars of live concerts to the city. Drake, Lil Wayne, 2 Chainz, T.I., Slaughterhouse, members of Wu-Tang, Black Sheep, Canibus, like Jeezy, Childish Gambino, like far like bar shows to amphitheater shows.
Right.
I had nothing left to prove to the city of Indianapolis, or to the Midwest and whole. I said, I'm moving to LA. I came here, and literally from the day I got here, money. When I moved here, I never thought it would necessarily be greater financially than what I was used to in the Midwest. I just thought it'd be easier for me to make money because I'd have more access to opportunity.
More access, right.
Example, when I had a client in Germany that wanted to get a song done with Kurupt and Snoop. Okay, well, they're both in LA. I'm in Indy. Sends the bread. I hop on a fucking plane. Boom. Go straight to Kurupt's right off the plane. Kurupt lays down the verse and hook. Later that night, Snoop does his shit. Done. Hang out the next day, go see a concert, fly back to Indy. That was pretty normal for me.
Right.
I was traveling like 15 days a month from Indy to New York, to LA, to wherever I needed to be. So I pay more to live here because, you know, the cost of living is greater in Los Angeles, California than Indianapolis, Indiana. But I'm traveling less. I just hop in the car, and if I got bread for Snoop, I'm going to the fucking compound.
Right.
You know, if Method Man's in town and there's work, we go get it.
Right.
And the majority of my client base now is here. And the beautiful thing about, like, you know, in the golden era of rap in the early 2000s, all the record labels were in New York. They opened up sister companies or offices here in LA. Well, guess what? The more and more of those people were coming to LA, they're like, damn, I love it here. I want to go back to New York.
I want to stay here.
When I went to New York, I was like, New York's my favorite place in the world.
Yeah.
I just love visiting LA, but then it grows on you. The money, the weather, the weed, the women, all that shit.
Right.
Beautiful. So I didn't have to go to New York as much.
Mm-hmm.
It's all here. There's only a few executives, like Steve Rifkin's probably one of the best examples, that goes to LA and New York every week.
Right. Okay.
You know, otherwise, like, you got an office here, you got Zoom, you got whatever it is, we get the job done. There's studios here, studios there. There's a lot of, it's all the same shit. So I appreciate going to the East Coast more now because it's so infrequent.
Gotcha. How selective are you with the artists that you choose to work with when it comes to like a newer artist, not legendary artists that you've been dealing with for a while, but newer artists?
So I'm an independent A&R. 90% of the time, artists hire me. I have a service packet. It's like my working resume. I update it a couple times a year with various accolades and stuff. There's a retainer fee, just like a lawyer. I offer, there's about 12 different services I offer when I'm fully A&Ring a record. A&R construction, A&R administration, label and distribution shopping. Then once the album's done, the deal's in place, then there's a million more things like PR coordination, radio coordination, playlisting coordination, tour booking, tour management, ad buys, marketing, so on and so forth. It's vast. So, there's artists that I do a few things for. There's artists that I do the whole plethora of services for. Outside of whether or not you have the money to hire me, since 2004, my batting average is 1,000. I have never taken on an artist who I did not deliver what they hired me for. And that's why I can charge for my consultations. That's why you're going to pay me what I ask you to pay me, because I will deliver what it is you're paying for.
Gotcha.
Outside of the money, you have to be super fucking talented. I have to believe
that's the question.
You can go places.
Right. Gotcha.
Now, if you want to pay me 10 times my asking fee, I might put my morals to the side. Like I've literally had a couple people agree, but I had to teach them how to rap. And some people are like, that's hilarious. You weren't the world's best rapper. Like,
get the fuck out of here.
I'm not saying like just me teaching them how. Like Redman has a bar. Give me 50 G's, let me write your songs. So, but I can like, if you're paying me well enough, hey, Crooked Eye, take this couple grand, come to the studio for a couple days.
Right.
Sit in with me with this guy.
Right.
Critique, teach. I'll do that, with all the best spitters I'm around. Kurupt, Asia. If that's what it's going to take to make you better, because I could sit there all day and tell you, this is how you need to chop this bar. You need to take these words out to make it fit X, Y, and Z. Like, it's easier said than done.
Yeah.
Like some people, like people that want to rap like double time, like Tech Nine and shit, they have the hardest time with adhering to that kind of advice. They just want to fit every fucking word under the sun into it.
And it doesn't work like that.
It does not work like that. Hey, let me open the door, take my dog out real quick. Hold on.
All right.
All right, I'm back. And he just ran right back in. That's fucking hilarious. Let me outside. Do not go outside. So the talent is quintessential. My latest, Abe Linx and Tully Cicero, I A&R'd one of their records called Runaway Diamonds. We got Benny on the album, Hus, Jay Worthy. Like these dudes were from Indy and I never knew about it. And I'm like, that's crazy. Like, and I was like yelling at Indy. I'm like, you're insane for knowing what I do for a living with these dudes as dope as they are. And nobody, like Rosewood and Hus Kingpin told me, those dudes don't live in Indy. They're Cali dudes now that came from like, Hempstead, New York.
Right.
Nuts for someone in New York to tell me about some people that were in my own backyard.
That you didn't know about. Wow.
I didn't know.
Crazy. Yeah.
And so I just finished their newest record. It's called Worldwide La Familia Forever. And that's we don't have a release date yet, but it's done. We turned it in. We signed a deal with Fat Beats. So salute to those dudes because, I brokered several record deals for several different artists from Indiana. And to my benefit, pat myself on the back shit, I think it's 7 different artists with 7 different labels. I brokered a deal for artists with Sony and I think with Baby Grand and RBC and now Fat Beats and that kind of shit. So it's that's the best part about being me and working with new artists and the legends. With the exception of maybe 1 or 2 projects in total, out of the 100 plus I've A&R, all my accounts at every record label is in the green. They call it the black. I call it the green because green means you're making money.
Right.
So if I have somebody that I believe in and I'm being, I worked on this record, I made the record, I can call every fucking label and distributor I've ever worked with. they'll look in my account. Okay. Like, because all it is, you know, if I vouch for this shit and they're going to sign it, chances are, if Holy Toledo's involved with it, it's the accounting is going against something. So if I vouch for this and it loses, oh shit, I might be financially on the hook.
Right.
And that's the best part about having successful records is like, there's labels who burn their bridge with me. I don't think I ever burned the bridge. Like I did the Ghostface deal, which was like, I'm gonna write a book about this one day because it's so amazing. I did like 5 deals for one album. And everyone's like, what the fuck? Like, it was unheard of. Like, I gave certain rights to the project to certain labels. So like X-Ray Records, Cleopatra Records had the derivative rights for the remixes and physicals. Then Dope Media had the physical rights for the original version of the album with Big Ghost and Ghostface.
Okay.
And I did the deluxe edition with the instrumentals with Fat Beats. And it helped me, like I used to just call and talk these deal points out. That label, to their credit, even though they don't like me and I could give 2 fucks about them, they're the ones who got me to put everything in email. So you could go back and be like, oh no, on March 14th, 2018.
You said, right.
Shit, you know, and I have to like take my word for it.
Right.
I offered this company like for an extra $12,000, you can have like the digital rights to the original version of the album. They didn't respond to me. And so they didn't get it. I kept it. And instead of getting their $12,000, I made like 90. Beautiful shit like that. So like I get the rights back to that record October 2023.
Okay.
I'll probably NFT that motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like there's so much out there. And that's the benefit of owning a master versus having a licensing deal on a record. Like,
yeah, because you can do anything you want with it.
And it will make money forever.
Yeah, absolutely. You know? Absolutely.
Even if it's and that's important for people at home. Even if it's $10, $50 a month, whatever. Well, guess what? I'll take $50 times 12.
Yeah.
Times 100 years. You know?
Why not?
Cool.
Yeah, it's money. Why not?
My family after me will be happy.
Yep.
That kind of shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, like Baby Grand was the first label to ever burn their bridge with me.
Wow.
Because I'll put it like this. People at home, if you're going to pay attention to this right here. Labels don't expect you to be anything more than the artist. So as far as they're concerned, they would be 100% content if all you fucking knew was how to make music.
Yep.
Nothing more. In comes someone like me. Oh, hi, I'm M80 and I rap and you're going to sign this project. And I went to law school and graduated cum laude, and I specialize in contracts. So like for the Ghostface album, they gave me the contract. I said, I redlined it. Here's everything you're going to change. They kept sending it back with just correcting little pieces of the shit I told them to do. All right. So I had to have them resend it 13 fucking times. And they're like, you're a headache. I'm like, no, you're trying to get over. And I'm so on my shit, it's not going to happen.
Not going to happen. Right.
Redman was the first label where it's like, we do the deal. And then they'd be like, we're sending the check. And then like a month would go by and you don't have the check yet.
You get the check, yeah.
So my attorney calls like, oh, you don't have to have your attorney call, guy. Okay, we'll send it tomorrow.
Let's send a check, yeah.
They just assume that none of these rappers have attorney money. And here comes someone who fucking does. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like, so like Baby Grand, that was it. Like after that, like Baby Grand, anytime they'd be slow on the money, I'm like, you know, we can walk from the deal, right? Like,
right.
So like Bronze Nazareth, they didn't give us a check for one of his records. And I literally went and brokered another deal for the Bronze album, the Wiseman album, and the Almighty album together. So all these records that were signed to Baby Grand, like we're taking elsewhere. We had a press release come out, it was in Hip Hop DX and allhiphop.com. Baby Grand the next day was like, whoa. How much money do we owe you? We'll send it right now. Like that shit. Like, don't play with me. Being resourceful and intelligent is the biggest fear to a record label. So labels like Baby Grand and Cleopatra X-Ray Records are like, we don't fuck with M80. It's because you can't fuck with me. Like, you're not going to get over.
Yeah.
Labels like RBC Records, like Fat Beats, those are 2 great examples. I'll do business with for a lifetime because they do licensing deals for one. I've never had to ask for a check. My accounting statements just appear in my email. And it's like, we owe you X amount of money. I'm like, sweet.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the greatest thing, never having to ask.
That's who you want to do business with. Yeah.
Yeah, Baby Grand probably owes me 6 figures from 2008.
Wow.
Yeah, like I haven't seen an accounting statement from some of our records dating back to like 05. So that's just fucking nuts.
Yeah.
So labels who want to, their whole intention is just to get over on you. Yeah, if you're smart, you're a headache. They won't fuck with you. They'll make it out to seem like you're the bad guy, which just know you're not.
Right.
The labels that want to have career longevity and have great reputations, they're in it for the love of the culture. Of course, it's a business. They want to turn a profit, but it's not like on some let me get over on you shit.
No doubt.
So like when I started working with RBC Records, they hired me as VP of A&R after, you know, I'd had probably sold 500,000 records between all the Baby Grand shit. The first record we did was the Melatonin Magic Canibus album with RBC, but I showed them my Almighty Original Sin accounting statement. And, you know, an accounting statement, again, you're only supposed to know you're a fucking rapper. And like, you're not supposed to understand anything that's on this piece of paper. So we got billed $8,000 for MTV commercials. Now, to their credit, I actually witnessed this MTV commercial. I was watching MTV one day and I saw it. I'm like, oh shit, that's me. MTV. Oh yeah, no, it's the greatest thing ever. But Ryan Shafton, the president of RBC Records, is like, what they billed you $8,000 for really costs less than $2,000. But what are you going to do? You're going to call MTV and be like, hi, I'm a rapper, and can you tell me how much was paid? It's not going to happen. They're not looking for you, and you're not even going to have the access to make the call in the first place. Right. So that opened my eyes up to like, okay, this is the shit Tribe's talking about. Industry shady rules and the whole nine, like that you as the artist can never even fathom. A record label that's intention is to get over could put any fucking number they want on that accounting statement. So when I do records like the Horseman album, we all share this website and everyone has the damn logins. At any time you want to log into the site and see how much we made
check, you can do that.
Do it. Because the last thing I'm going to fucking put up with as an executive is when you guys tell me that I beat you for $100 while I'm driving around in Maybach. We're not doing it. You know? So you get access, you get access, you get access.
Yeah.
And then when we do the records with the labels, the same shit. I'm getting mailed the same statement. You are. There's no like, let me get it first.
Right, you know? Right. Yep. Makes sense. Yeah. Kind of like brings me to our next question. What do you love most about this industry and what do you hate the most about it?
I love quality music from quality people and building quality relationships. I'm at the stage of success in my career where it's like the money is always going to come. I want to get money and work with people that are my friends.
Got you.
Without having to question loyalty, work ethic, dedication. You know, like I have 200 clients. I've worked with 200 artists consistently year in and year out, like 50. I got 3 of these people in my will. That's fucking pretty crazy.
That is, yeah.
Like, ideally, we'd be in such of this haven of quality human beings where you'd think I'd want to like look out for everyone that ever helped me get on or make $1. The fact of the matter is, even some of the people closest to me that are partially responsible for me being in the position I'm in took advantage. When you don't have to finesse good people, because good people like myself with a good heart, like all you can finesse yourself out of is access to me.
Yeah.
So there's that kind of that's so I appreciate quality people, quality music, quality relationships. The worst part is like me knowing I'm a good person, doing everything I can to help people win. And then knowing that they view me as a stepping stone. So because I know you view me as a stepping stone, once I start to feel like that's how you're treating our relationship or dynamic, let me get everything I'm going to fucking get out of it then.
Yeah. And then move on. Yeah.
Yep.
That's it.
Like, you know, like as an artist, they say you got to be really thick skinned. Imagine how much thick skin you have to have in my position. I have to balance my emotion with that of hundreds others, you know, and everyone's different. And it's really shitty because, like, you know, there was a Notorious B.I.G. interview that's really famous where he's like, I thought when I got on in hip hop, it was just going to be like this haven of like, oh, respect because you're in hip hop and I'm in hip hop and we're hip hop.
It's not like that.
The world.
Yeah, that don't.
No, like I learned, like I might have a day where I'm like, man, I did so great today in business. I got so and so this deal and we made blank amount of money. But guess what? The reality is, like, the person I'm talking to, even though I might get them money the day before or the week before or the month before, I didn't get it for them today. So they don't want to hear about it. But I'm like, damn, I want to like celebrate my successes with the next man that's on my team.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I don't want you to like, oh, good, but fuck him. Like, damn. Like, if I had to tell my clients, yo, this client of mine was like, fuck you, it ungodly.
Yeah.
You know, there was a point in time, I remember this, I'll never forget it. I mean, like, Crooked Eye, Chino XL, Planet Asia, Kurupt. Mm-hmm. These are 4 good examples of like, if any of those 4 were ever like, fuck M80 or M80, if they had something bad to say, I would sincerely be hurt. And I would tell people if they had something bad to say, believe it. But if it's anyone other than those 4,
gotcha.
They're mad because some shit I wouldn't do for them. Mm-hmm. They tried to pull some funny snake shit and I found out about it and diverted the snake shit. And my top one was always Killah Priest, dude. Priest was my guy. Like, brought me in, introduced me to Wu-Tang, the whole 9. I've worked several Killah Priest records. But after about 18 years, he pulled some funny shit. And I'm like, dude, no. Like, you know my family.
Right.
We've been all over the fucking world together.
Mm-hmm.
If you didn't have it, I made sure I gave it to you, kind of shit. And he fucked me over on something that didn't need to be like that. He didn't gain anything by fucking me over.
Right.
So never again. We can't. I'm not interested in making amends. There's bridges where I feel like, you know, maybe we both had a hand in burning this.
Mm-hmm.
If I feel like that, I'll try to make it right. Right. But there's certain instances like the Priest scenario. Nah. Yeah. Doing my best. Like, yo, okay. Let me get that will back. Let me modify this real quick.
That's the type of shit that really hurts.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. Up until this point in your career, what's been your most memorable moment?
Well, as an artist, breaking the Guinness World Freestyle record in 2009, doing it for charity to fund a secondary school in the Bodo River States of Nigeria. Mm-hmm. That's my fondest memory.
How did you feel after rapping that fucking long?
I was like, let's get fucking burritos. I was starving. I wanted, you know, initially I'm like, I'm gonna break the record. Yeah. And I'm gonna go clubbing. And like in my head, I'm like, bitch, this is gonna be all over me. Like it was like bottles and bitches. For the Guinness World Record. Yeah. And then we walked outside and it was snowing. And I'm like, oh man, I'm like, I don't want to fucking, I pictured it.
Right.
I'm going to go party and get fucked up and drive home and die. And then they're going to be like, this guy broke a Guinness World Record yesterday. Wow. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go to this Mexican restaurant, get a burrito, and I'm going home. That's what I did. Played it safe. But I practiced that shit for so long, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I almost blew it in the first 20 minutes. Like, based off the BPM of the track, would determine when I would like spray a little water in my mouth, pause, or take a little bite or eat to some shit. So like around the 19-minute mark, I spray this water and I start coughing. And I was like, oh shit, it's over. Like I'm about to go on a coughing rate. It's over. I'm coughing for like 10 seconds.
Right.
I was like, coughing from my coughing. I ain't dead yet. I said I made it a triple threat. Like whatever. It was like genius shit.
Yeah.
The whole thing was captured on like 10 one-hour DVDs. So that's the only time I've ever brought that DVD up just to watch that part. That's fucking hilarious. So that was my fondest moment as an A&R. I'm sorry, as an artist. My fondest moment as an A&R was being the executive producer of the Ghostface album with Big Ghost. And the reason that is because other than my very first experiences in A&R, which was Wu-Tang meets the Indie Culture in '05, and like I said before, it went on to be the second highest selling independent, not rap album, just album across all genres of the year. The only album that was greater than that sales-wise was Danger Doom, MF Doom and Danger Mouse. And they had insane amounts of television promo through Adult Swim, that kind of shit. Plus the album's great, not taking anything away from it. But the Ghostface album, I personally funded. And this is a 6-figure record, you know?
Gotcha.
And it was very difficult. Like, I had a lot of hurdles. And I overcame every single fucking obstacle that was thrown at me, whether it was from Ghostface's internal camp, the labels, trying to get all the adequate sign-offs, you know, for producers, features, the whole nine. And when I pitched Ghost the idea, I said, I have this idea and I believe it's going to make X amount of money. And this is how I'm going to do it. Ghost wasn't interested in that. And I don't blame him. Because a lot of artists just want to, okay, what do I need to do and how much money? You have to really be partners with some motherfucker to be like, here's my business idea, and we're going to do this, and we're going to see it through, and it's going to take X amount of months.
Right.
So I don't fault the 99% that are like, talk money to me, get to the bag. And I respect that because I flip that on people sometimes too.
Right.
Like, I got to know you for you to be able to like have a business proposal for me. Other than that, here's my fees. So that record, after a year from its release, ended up doing the numbers I thought it would do. And I got to reap the majority of the benefits.
Nice.
Now, would I ever do that again? You know what? I don't think I could ever make a record again that would play out the same way, where the labels would give me the freedom to embark in multiple deals. And like I said, it's only for masters like that you could possibly do that. Right. So when you're doing like a licensing deal with a label, typically they want exclusivity. Like, okay, it's a license, you own your master, but for 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, 1 year, whatever it is, whatever your term is, we're doing all your digital. We're doing all your physical. The beauty is a lot of bigger labels now, they only focus on the digital side of it. So it's great if they'll let the artist maintain the physical rights and still profit. Right. You know, an example, like without saying the artist name, we did a deal for a digital license one time. The advance was 50 grand, and that's all they wanted. Like, cool. They let us keep the physical. We, you know, I have the system, just like, I mean, it's not new, but dropping the pre-orders, having a release date set up, boom. And we, you know, if we can make an equivalent 50 or more on the physical side, then the totality of the deal is worthwhile.
Right.
You're going to give us accounting statements every month or every quarter, whatever it is, on the digital side, and we can always update the physical. So like, let's go sell out of tapes and CDs. Then maybe 3 months later, let's go, you know, reissue or issue a vinyl or whatever. So that's new shit. And consumers are now more susceptible to buying the physical product than literally they ever were. I mean, all my records from like 08 to like 2012, 2013-ish had no vinyl component to them.
Wow.
But everything, like when Griselda started popping, I was introduced to the system, like this non-traditional system from Hus Kingpin.
Okay.
And you know, I'm used to like A&R records, and it's like you got to sell in the tens of thousands of units, or it's a flop, depending on your financial level of investment.
Right.
The one who taught me, not everything has to be a home run. Like if you make an album for say 10 grand, and you're going to do a limited release. I'm like, what the fuck's a limited release? Like, we're only pressing 1,000 on vinyls. We're only going to press 1,000 CDs or 200 tapes. When that sells out, it's gone. You move on to the next shit. That was unheard of to me. We had always worked records where we're going to ship 50,000. We're going to ship 25,000.
Right.
On another IO. Keep it moving. Like, when these people started doing that shit, I'm like, I see the genius in it.
Okay.
Because it's a lot cooler to be like, oh, my new album sold out versus like, I got 50,000 copies in my garage. You know? And when the pandemic hit, I started doing shit like that for just on a smaller scale for like Priest and Crooked Eye. You know, let's reissue a product. autograph it, number it, whatever, like 150 CDs, 200 this, and it worked out because, you know, making an extra $4 or $5 grand a month, not being able to leave the house still covers bills.
That's dope. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Couple more questions, man. I heard you say a while back, I believe I saw you on Instagram or something, that it was a certain amount of days or something that you had stopped drinking.
Yeah.
Was that what was there a particular reason behind that, or was it just time for you to just say, fuck it, I'm done?
Me and my wife, I've been married now for, it'll be 6 years in June.
Okay.
And we've been pregnant a few times.
Okay.
And, you know, I hope she doesn't mind me like putting this out there, but it's like, we have no children.
Okay.
So because of my drug use and my frequency of drinking, I always assumed that played a role in it.
Gotcha.
And she wasn't an angel either, but it's like, you know, we partied together and we party hard.
Right.
I was like, I'm going to get sober so I can make a baby.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God my wife's pregnant. We're due in August. And it's like, so in my opinion, it fulfilled what I needed to accomplish. So people were like, I never knew you had like a drinking problem or a drug problem. I never looked at it like that because I still got all my work done. Like I'm always of the opinion, do whatever you want as long as you get the job done.
Get the job
done. If it doesn't interfere with others. It started to bother me when people close to me would comment on like my drinking or drug use.
Okay.
That's when it really hit home for me because again, I'm the kind of person where it's like, if I care about you, your words mean something to me.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't, go fuck yourself. But the people that I care about were telling me this shit. And I'm like, oh, okay. All right, let me take a step back. My wife's pregnant. We're due in August. It's right around the corner. She's starting to get big.
Congratulations,
you know?
Man.
So the funny part was like, you know, salute to those on their sobriety path.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was like, I had a drinking, my parents were told I had a drinking and drug problem when I was in high school. And I'm like, how can I be a fucking alcoholic? I go to school every day and I sleep at your house. What are you talking about? Right. So I did like AA and NA for like 4 years. I was sober from when I was 18 to when I was like almost 23.
Right.
In fact, I was in prison, not jail. I was in prison when I was 20. I turned 21 in prison.
Okay.
I had a fucking like a little Debbie cake and a cigarette when I celebrate my 21st birthday.
Mm-hmm.
But this time around, like I said, my intention was I just want to make sure my wife's pregnant.
Right.
I want to have a child. So one day it's like, I'm celebrating a year sobriety today. And then I think 2 days later, it was 2 days later.
Right.
Was April Fool's. And I'm in Vegas for Grammy weekend. I'm like, I'm going to get fucking trashed all weekend. Everyone's like, ha ha, April Fool's. I'm like, no, seriously, I'm about to get fucking lit. And then I had like a $7,000 bar tab.
Wow.
Yeah, which was great. Like I made like 18 grand that weekend, like betting, and like I had Snoop work, and I won like 5 G's on the North Carolina versus Duke game, and $1 grand on the Laker game, and this is like grand on roulette kind of shit.
A good weekend.
But people were like, "No way, you just said you had a year like 2 days ago." I'm like, "I did." And now, but so now they're like, you just ruined your year, and I'm like, I mean, it's cool, so I'll start over again. But I think I've had a drink, maybe a glass of wine since then.
Okay.
Like I said, the point was I want a child. My wife's pregnant. We're having a baby, and now I'm more conditioned to. I understand like executives like Travis again from Strange Music, sober, and his whole point was like I'm not my best version of me. Getting every fucking crumb on the table, making all the money possible when I'm under the influence or drinking or whatever your vice may be. Gotcha. And trust me, that year of sobriety through now, unparalleled. Like 3 years ago was my best year in business. Then 2 years ago, I beat that. Then last year was my best year in business. And we're 5 months into this year, and I'm like, damn, I almost beat last year's whole fucking year.
Yeah. Wow.
Crazy. So that's the whole point. Like, understandably, if half my time was spent in an inebriated state, I wouldn't be getting to the back.
Yeah, less work being done. Yep. Absolutely. What are you currently working on in the NFT space right now that people should be checking for?
Oh, nothing we can announce yet.
Okay.
but I had a call today that I think will close in the next like 15, 20 days.
Okay.
For the Outlaws and the Tupac estate.
Nice.
That's one. I'm working with a company called Drawstring. Shout out to Kenny and shout out to Agazi. I hope they're tuned in because I want my checks. but they're running NFT company called Drawstring, and we're tapping in with Wu-Tang, and we're tapping in with Rick Ross and Wale and people like that. So it's not easy, like I said earlier, it's like jokingly, like people think, oh man, I got an unreleased song or project and I can't sell it for a label won't give me 10 grand, but I'm going to NFT it for $1 million. and the interesting thing is they keep going back to the fact that Wu-Tang's one of a kind album sold for $2 million and was sold to someone in that space for $4 million. Right. But guess what? You're not fucking Wu-Tang Clan. And
that was the whole Martin Shkreli.
Yes, and you're never going to build up the hype like that.
Right.
You can't replicate, like I can't replicate the success of the Ghostface album.
Mm-hmm.
You can't replicate what Wu-Tang and Civil Rings experienced making that album with Shkreli and the press. Like, bro, that's millions of dollars of press that were just given to me because of how. And there's a show. Oh shit, I forgot to watch it. I think that came out a few days ago on TNT, the Wu-Tang Martin Shkreli, and there was a special on Netflix, and Wu-Tang went to do their shows and docu-series and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to the Outlaws. Shout out to Edie Amin. Shout out to Todd Moore, Lifted Elephant Group. I want to give a shout out to my guy Ak, Black Soprano family and all them. I know they're on the road right now, so stay safe out there, man. One love. No doubt. But I'm looking forward to more and more of that because, like, Snoop fully embraced it and is doing very well with it. And it'd be great to get pointers on what works for him, from him, or for him, what doesn't. Right. Like, taking a mixtape. And Snoop, this is interesting. Like, and that's why I don't care about people shitting on the license side of my business. Snoop literally just took a mixtape, okay? Released it like 1 or 2 songs at a time. And you could buy the full song. You could buy the instrumental. You could buy the acapella. There's like 3 or 4 different options at different price points, okay?
Right.
You own it and can do what you fucking want with it. Now, people are like, that's crazy. So if I want to take this verse and put it on my song and release it, can I? The short answer is yes, because you quote unquote own it. That's what it says in the terms of NFT. The fact of the matter is, like, aggregators, like TuneCore, CD Baby, record labels, whatever the fuck it is, require paperwork. So you can't just be like, here's my receipt for the NFT. There's nothing in there about you taking these Snoop vocals and putting your song out. Right. That's where my business differs. I own the shit. I have the original purchase agreements, and then we license it. You get a contract from me for the lawful transfer. And if need be from the aggregator, I have the original files. And usually 9 times out of 10, they'll ask for it and I'll upload it. Boom, song gets approved, it's out. So even if you couldn't take your song with a Snoop verse you just bought as an NFT and put it out for the whole world to hear commercially for like Spotify and shit, guess what? It's cool enough just to upload it to YouTube and have your friends check it out. You can still make a name off shit like that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Powerful. Definitely.
I want to give a shout out to Chase Fetty tuning in right now. All my Canibus fans in the building. Zero. So, it's,
that's what's up. Last question, man. What does hip hop mean to you?
Hold on here. God damn it. Dude, hip hop for me meant freedom. It was an escape. It was it was revolutionary.
Yep.
It's different. It's against the status quo. It excuse me. It was life-changing for me because, like I said, I always was good in school. I was also I was the kid who was equally street smart and book smart.
Gotcha.
Being book smart did not land me in prison. Being not as street smart as I thought I was landed me in prison.
Okay.
And I'd never thought to myself, okay, let me readjust. That's what the mentality is. Like, you know, I remember the officer, I don't ever want to see you back in here again. I'm like, you're not going to. Because when I left prison, I knew it wasn't like, let me evaluate what I did wrong that got me hemmed up and adjust. It was like, fuck all that shit. I'm going to really put my 100% into the book smarts of it. So like when I work with Bloods, I work with Crips, I work with all across the board.
Right.
They don't need me to be the shooter. They don't need me to be the muscle. They need this to fucking be on call 24 hours a day to ensure that they're getting the most of theirs.
Right.
All right. So that being said, hip hop paved the way for me to build my empire. So hip hop, I'm eternally grateful, and it's respect.
Absolutely.
And I am really choked up right now, man. That's what got me. God damn it.
I'm glad. Good question.
Everyone at home might call fucking 911, make sure I'm all right. Yo, I'll tell you this. A fucking friend, I was in Arizona one time. I'm like, bro, I had meetings all morning. I'm fucking beat. I'm about to lay down. He's like, what hotel are you staying at? I told him. I literally check in my room. I lay down, fucking take all my clothes off. I'm like, oh, big ass king bed. 15 minutes later, I'm passed the fuck out. Just dude banging on my door comes in. Mr. Markoff, you okay? I'm like, I'm sleeping. Who the fuck are you? I'm like, we're doing, I think they call it like a humanity check. I'm like, what? It's like, we got a call that you might be trying to harm yourself. That's my fucking friend playing a prank on the front desk. Oh, man. Like, I called that dude. I was like, I'm never hanging out with you again. I honestly think we've not talked since. I was that pissed off.
That's fucked up.
Closed in the room. I was under the covers, but damn it, I'm naked. Like, get out of here, dude. Like, yes, I'm fine.
That's crazy.
And every time I went downstairs afterwards, the dude at the front desk would like try not to make eye contact with me. I'm okay.
Just tell us where everybody can follow you on social media, and then anything that maybe we didn't talk about that you might want to let people know about, projects or merch, or anything like that.
Instagram, Almighty M80. I'm great on responses. You DM me. I even checked that like third folder in the way back.
Yeah, in the back. Yeah,
bro. I'll tell you what. I never wanted to stop using MySpace because I used to run MySpace accounts for like tons of artists.
Okay.
And on average, we were getting like 30, 40 grand a week in between all these different artists and features and shows and whatever. I'm like, MySpace is the greatest thing ever.
Right.
And I went on Facebook and then didn't check MySpace for like a long time. I went back one time and checked the fucking inbox. Man, there was 6 figures of bread we missed out on.
Wow.
I was like, damn it. So I check all the folders on so Facebook's Matthew Markoff, Instagram Almighty M80, new Rakim album 2022.
Oof, say no more. That's it. Mic drop on that one. M80, thank you, man. I appreciate you coming through, man.
Just so you know, for the people that might see this at home later, I ain't going out tonight, but I'm fly as fuck. Oh, and Saturday, Onyx.
Oh yeah,
Onyx Cypress Hill.
Yes, sir. Versus
the Forum.
No doubt.
Sunday we'll be in Vegas for the Billboard Awards. I ain't up for nothing. We're up for the Grammy. We lost for best rap song for Beth Songs from the DMX album. I was A&R admin on the X record.
Okay.
But I'm really excited to see the verses and maybe see some Travis Scott and Diddy action and shit at the Billboard Awards this week.
No doubt. All right, M80, stay up, man. Thank you very much, my brother. I appreciate
the interview. All right.
All right, no doubt.
Thank you. Peace at home.
Peace. All right.